Hey there, Algebra 1. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Math with Mullins. Today we're looking at lesson 2.4, solving equations with variables on both sides. So, learning objectives today, solve equations with the variable on each side using the distributive property, and also talk about something called identities or no solutions at the very end. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we want to do is remember our steps for when we have multi-step equations. We're thinking of the phrase, don't call me after midnight. So D stands for distribute, C is combine like terms, and then the new step we're putting in today is moving variables to the same side. So we're going to talk about what that looks like in a moment. And then A would be add or subtract, and then M would be multiply or divide. So let's go ahead and get started using those steps. So as we work out some items, I am going to make sure I can find my, there we go. Don't call me after midnight. Use this kind of as a checklist. So when I look at my multi-step equation, I don't see anything I need to distribute, so I'm going to cross that off the list. And I do not have any combining of like terms on the same side, so I'm done with that. The next thing though is I do need to move variables to the same side, and when you move variables, I want you to choose the smallest variable to move. Okay, that is going to help us to decide, to make sure that we don't have too many negatives that we have to worry about. So in this case, my smallest variable is the 4. So in order to move that positive 4a, I'm going to do the opposite of positive 4, which is negative 4 or minus 4. These 4's can cancel out, and I'm going to bring down that minus 13 or the negative 13 on the right-hand side. And on the left-hand side, I'll be left with 5 plus 3a, because 7a minus 4a is 3a. Next, I'm ready for my adding or subtracting. In order to get 3a by itself, I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides since that's a positive 5. And again, apologies about end of the school day, bells and announcements, so we'll get through it as much as we can. 5 minus 5 cancels out. 3a is all that's left. And then negative 13 minus 5 is going to give me a negative 18. I'm done with that fourth step, so now I'm ready for step 5, which would be multiply or divide. I'm going to divide both sides by 3 so that a is equal to negative 6. In order to check my solution, I would just plug in negative 6 back into the equation. So 5 plus 7 times negative 6, that's 5 plus negative 42 or negative 37, should be equal to 4 times negative 6 minus 13. 4 times negative 6 is 24, and negative 24 minus 13 also gives me negative 37. Oopsies. So I know my answer is correct. Okay. Next up is a word problem. So we're going to try this one together. It says the results of the 2015 Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest are shown. So we have Matt Stoney. He, in the men's category, ate 62 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Mickey Sudo, she's the women's category winner. She ate 38 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Suppose the men and women's winner, Matt and Mickey, decide to compete against one another. So to make the competition more interesting, Matt will not start until Mickey has eaten 20 hot dogs. So assume that Matt and Mickey eat at a constant rate throughout the competition based on the number of hot dogs eaten in 10 minutes by Matt and Mickey. How many minutes after Matt starts eating will they have eaten the same number? Same number means equal to. One thing to consider though is this is not a per minute rate. So you want to think about Matt, he ate 6.2 hot dogs per minute because over a 10-minute period he ate 62. And then Mickey, she ate 3.8 hot dogs per minute. Okay, it does say to make it more interesting, so Matt's going to try to catch up to Mickey. He wants Mickey to eat 20 hot dogs first. So we're going to take Mickey's rate at 3.8 m per minute and add 20 to it, and then set it equal to Matt's 6.2 hot dogs per minute. Okay, now that we see we have variables on both sides, we think about that same process as before. Don't call me after midnight. No distributing, no combining like terms, but yes, moving variables. In this case, it doesn't matter if I should use the smallest or the largest variable. It really just matters on getting all the variables to the same side. And since 6.2 is already by itself, it would make sense for me to move 3.8 to join it over here. So I'm going to subtract 3.8 m from both sides, and I'm going to end up with 2.4 m is equal to 20, since those two cancel out. My final step here, no adding or subtracting, but I do have some multiplying and dividing. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2.4, and then 20 divided by 2.4 is going to give me about 8.3 repeating minutes. So we can say after about 8.3 minutes, they would have eaten the same amount of hot dogs. Okay? Example 3 is when we're starting to pull in the distribution, so don't call me after midnight. If you want to pause right here and try this one on your own, that'd be great. So see if you can pause here, go through your steps, and then play when you're ready to check. All right, so for distributing, I'm going to distribute first. On the left side, I'm going to get 7n minus 7, and on the right side, I should get negative 6 minus 2n. Next, I'm going to combine any like terms. I don't have that, so now I'm ready to move my variables, starting with my lowest variable since I have them on both sides. I'm going to add this 2n so I can cancel those out, but whatever I do to one side, I must also do to the other. I'm going to end up with 9n minus 7 is equal to negative 6. Next step would be adding or subtracting, so I'm going to add this 7 to both sides. Negative 6 plus 7 is a 1, so I have 9n is equal to 1. And then my final step would be to multiply or divide. Here, when I divide by 9, you can keep it in a simplified fraction form, which is 1/9. Otherwise, you would get a repeating decimal. I think it's like 0.1 repeating. Example 4 could be a little tricky. If you can try this one on your own, go ahead. I'm going to give you a chance to pause here. Think about your steps, and when you're ready to check, go ahead and click play. Okay, this one is harder because you don't have any distributing or combining like terms, but you do have variables on the same side. The only problem is the variable that we need to move is grouped up here at the top, and the only way to ungroup this is to get rid of this dividing by 4 at the bottom. In order to get rid of that dividing by 4 at the bottom, I need to multiply both sides by 4, because dividing by 4 and timesing by 4 will cancel out, so all that's left will give me my 12y plus 16, which is what I want. And on the right side, I can say 4 times 5y gives me my 20y. Now I'm ready to move variables to the same side. I'm going to subtract 12y from both sides. I'm going to get 8y is equal to 16. And then my final step, just dividing both sides by 8 so that y is equal to 2. If in doubt, we can always plug this back in and check. 5 times 2 is 10. So 12 times 2 is 24, plus 16 is 40, and 40 divided by 4 is 10. So that means y equaling 2 would be a plausible solution. One more example for us before we try something new. Write an equation with grouping symbols. Find the value of x so the areas have the same, so the figures have the same area. We have two shapes here. We have a rectangle. Remember, rectangle, we can do base times height to find the area. For triangles, though, we're going to need to do 1/2 base times height. So we're going to set these expressions, we're going to write two expressions that represent their area and then set them equal to one another so they can have the same area. In order to do base times height here, I would just do 5 times x plus 4 to represent my area. And then for my triangle, I would do 1/2 of the base, so that's 1/2 of 12, times the height, which is 2x minus 6. Now what I'll do is I'll take both of these expressions and set them equal to one another and begin to solve using my steps. So I have my rectangle equaling the area of my triangle. And here we go. On the left-hand side, I've got some distribution, 5 times x and 5 times 4. And then I kind of have like a lot of things going on here. So what I would do first is take care of this 1/2 times 12. That will give me 6. And then I'm going to distribute the 6 to the 2x minus 6. So the left side won't change much, but the right side will change to 12x minus 36. Now I'm ready for, don't call me after midnight. Combining like terms, we kind of did that there. Let's move some variables. I'm going to move the 5x since it's smaller. I'm going to get 20 equals 7x minus 36. And then add or subtract. We're going to add that 36 to both sides. 36 added to 20 will give me 56 equaling 7x. Oop. And then my final step would be to divide by 7 so that 8 is equal to my x. Okay? The last thing we're going to see here is identities and equations with no solution. So all throughout exercises 1 through 5, that is when we had one solution. So we were able to find, like for the last one, x is equal to 8. That is one exact solution. That one number is the only solution that'll work to make that sentence true. No solution is when an equation has no value of the variable that would make the equation true. And as you start to simplify and try to solve using don't call me after midnight, you might end up with something like this, like 8 is equal to 9. That seems very odd and strange, but you probably solved it correct. And since 8 is not equal to 9, you would end up saying no solution for that answer. The identity is when your equation is true for all values of its variables. That would look like this. You're done doing your don't call me after midnight steps, and you get down to this. 8 is equal to 8. So it's literally its same thing or itself. This is when you would say this is an identity, or commonly known as all real numbers would work for this solution. So that means 8 could be a solution, negative 1,000 could be a solution. It doesn't matter whatever real number you choose, it will always work to create a balanced equation. What we're going to do next is practice solving an equation with no solution and then solving an equation where there's an identity or all real numbers. This is what that'll look like. Still going to solve the same way. Don't call me after midnight. Let's go ahead and distribute here. So 6 times y and 6 times negative 5. We're going to get 6y minus 30. And on the right-hand side, distributing, 2 times 10 is 20, 2 times 3y is 6y. Next, I don't have any combining like terms, but I can move the variables. The only problem is here, 6y and 6y are the same, so it doesn't matter which one you move. I'm going to move this one by subtraction. And when you do that, 6y minus 6y is going to cancel out on both sides. So now all we see is negative 30 equaling 20. And that seems weird because negative 30 does not equal 20. Since that is not a true statement, we are going to say no solution, okay? So in order to get full points on a quiz or a test, you don't just stop at the negative 30 does not equal 20. You need to write down a final result of no solution, okay? Let's go ahead and try this one. I want to see if you can pause this one and try on your own and see what you come up with. And when you're ready to check your final answer, go ahead and click play. All right, starting with distributing, I have on the left side that 5 to the x and negative 1, so I'm going to get 7x plus 5x minus 5. And then on the right side, I have 12x minus 5. I do see some combined like terms. Here on the left-hand side, I've got 7x plus 5x, that's 12x. So I get 12x minus 5 is equal to 12x minus 5. Here you might notice something and start to know something about how we're solving it. I'm ready to go ahead and move variables if you haven't noticed it yet. Doesn't matter what 12x you move, just go ahead and move them. 12x minus 12x are going to cancel on both sides, and now we are ending up with negative 5 is equal to negative 5. I don't even need to finish the last two steps of my adding and subtracting, multiplying, or dividing because negative 5 does equal negative 5. So this is when we would write down this is identity, which means all real numbers are a solution. Okay, so again, if this was a test or a quiz question, you do not want to stop at just the negative 5 equals negative 5. I need you to tell me what that means. So you either need to write down identity or all real numbers are a solution. That will be the conclusion of our notes today on lesson 2.4. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we hope to catch you next time. Have a great day.